Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. Today I have a special guest that goes by the name of Janae Sergio, based out of San Antonio, Texas. Please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and we'll get going.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here on your podcast. I am a #1 bestselling author of a mini memoir called Perfectly Flawed, A Veteran's Journey from Homeless to Hero. I'm a veteran advocate, more specifically in the space of veteran mental health. And then I also work for the Air Force, where I've served for the last 4 years as the Chief of Air Force Lodging.
Nice. Any military experience before that?
I served for 8 years active duty in the Navy, like yourself. We're both sailors. I served 4 years on the USS John C. Stennis. I was one of the first to deploy in support of Operation Enduring Freedom right after 9/11. And then I served another 4 years as an instructor up in Great Lakes. From there, I've subsequently served a total combined military and civil service of 24 years for the Department of Defense.
Oh, 24 years. It's time to retire, okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I need to go full-time speaking now.
Yeah, well, I think you're on your way. And that kind of leads into the next question that I have here is not really a question, more so just if you want to discuss how we met. What was your first experience meeting me? How did we connect? Why did we connect? And kind of talk about that.
It was serendipitous. We actually ended up meeting at a Sticker Shock Academy. My personal book coach and speaking coach, Daniel Gomez, and hosted the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. You were one of the keynote speakers there. As you were telling your story, I resonated with it. It was very similar to my background in that we both came from difficult upbringings, kind of similar to what a lot of people in the military go through, but ours were a lot more closely aligned in that you were in foster care and I was homeless in Hollywood, California prior to joining the Navy. And as you told your story, I was really impressed with the way that you were able to share your personal story, but then also align that with your purpose and how you've grown into who you are today and how you're able to go out now and make a huge impact on not just the MilVet community, but the at-risk youth community, which I think, it just ties so closely to my passion and my purpose as well.
Yeah, for sure. I actually kind of humbling. I was asked here to go speak to some kids, and it's like, yeah, I'll do that for free. Like, where is it? What are we talking about? Who's going to be there? You start asking questions. They're like, geez, this guy's intense. But I want to know, like, are they juvenile delinquents? Do they not have parents? What's their situation? Because you're not going to be able to reach them if you don't understand their situation. So, but
And
that's
that's why you're a
cool.
perfect person to be there because you're a visual testament to where they can be. You're that person who gives them hope. A lot of times, youth in that situation, they don't have an example of someone who came from
Sure.
their situation to where you are. So you're a perfect person to be out there speaking to them.
Well, I appreciate that. And then you spoke there at Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. So here's what many may not know. Daniel asked me to come keynote. It was like literally my first speaking engagement. There was no practice. I didn't go through Sticker Shock. He saw me for 5 minutes at Coach Bert's Lodge in Tennessee and was like, come with me. And I'm thankful for that. And turns out I'm pretty good at it. So he brought me
Very
back.
good.
Um, well, I
Not to
appreciate
toot
that.
your horn or anything, but you blew the audience away. You're incredible. And that being your first engagement, it's only up from here.
Yeah, I'm excited for January. Like now that I'm like actually crafting talks and stuff. I mean, you were just there in San Antonio again. I was just down there again, and I'm sure you guys could see the difference in the presentation just in that short time. So, but I also had the opportunity to meet you, see your book, talk to you, hear you speak, hear your story, and then just kind of finding out that we're aligned with some things, like say Irreverent Warriors per se. My company actually contributes to them every year. We're the #1 contributor here in our area, and you work with them at a national level. So just some common interests and obviously Navy ties. So I just thought, hey, we have all these guys talking. Like, how are we going to get any women to come to this event? It's all dudes, and not for nothing, but women don't just want to hear a bunch of guys barking, right? Like, I wanted to be able to bring someone that can also connect with them because this event is supposed to be for everybody. And I felt that you fit the bill, and I want to say thank you for taking part, and we can't wait to host you. But I also have a question about Determine Your Destiny. Why'd you say yes? Like, what made you want to come get on a stage with me and Daniel and Michael Burt and Travis Wallace and Sean French and, in a gym, like in Norfolk, like veteran heaven, right?
Yeah, I felt bad. I was like, gosh, that poster I mean, it's a lot of great looking guys, but you're missing you're missing some beauty. You're missing some feminine energy here. So I
Yeah,
was like, I gotta break this mold and help these guys out.
I
No, I
like it.
mean, I'm honored for the opportunity, and it means so much to me that I've worked really hard in the veteran community and in the military veteran space, but also just in the social justice space of trying to get the word out there and to be able to be a woman presence
Yeah.
in the space. And so when you asked me, I felt incredibly honored to be that person and that representation who gets to go there and represent women. And it's a huge responsibility, and I take that responsibility seriously. But I stand behind your message. I stand behind the work that you're doing. I'm incredibly inspired by you, and so to be invited on the same stage as you and the other speakers that are going to be on that stage was a complete honor. I look forward to sharing the work that I do with the Grunstyle Foundation, Irreverent Warriors Foundation, the Pink Berets organization, and even the VFW has now partnered with us in some of this national
Wow.
advocacy work that we do. So, what a great opportunity! I'm
Yeah,
honored.
let's get all of them at Iron Asylum
Yes.
Gym in Norfolk as well. There's
You
quite
heard
the
him.
lineup there. Wow. So give just a little teaser. What are you going to talk about? What value are you going to bring the crowd on January 18th?
In my book, I share a lot about, navigating life's challenges. And over the last year, I've kind of had my own experiences again of some pretty serious challenges. And so I think 2025, I really want to get out there and again, in alignment with my purpose to helping with mental health awareness, share how to really navigate life's challenges with grace and integrity. It's really the difference in whether or not your hardships turn into snowballs and get out of control to where you can't manage them and you can't get out from under them. How you address them as they come, no matter what, they're going to be second and third order issues that arise. Right. So I just want to be able to get out and kind of share how you can navigate those with grace and integrity so that you can move through them as quickly as possible. Feel it, right? Feel through it so you can heal through it, move through them, and then be able to get back into your purpose and into helping others. So I'm looking forward to sharing this message of navigating life's challenges with grace and integrity.
I love it. And see, you already right there, like added a little bit of feminine energy just with like the title, right? You got me with tenacity, Michael Burt with prey drive, Travis Wallace is a little different with the reinvention. He's more of the nutritionist trainer style, but you bring a different element that's needed because I want the most diverse crowd possible, right? I mean, that's kind of the point. But I don't want to tell them everything. I want to save some for the stage for you. We can't give away everything, but you will have copies of your book on site, right?
I will.
Please tell the audience where they can find out more about you. What's your website? What are your social handles? Where can they come follow you and figure out who they're going to come see January 18th?
Yes, you can find me at janaesergio.com. You can get an advanced copy of my book and bring it with you so that I can autograph it right there on site. I will have some copies there as well. And you can find me at Janae_perfectly flawed across all social media platforms. I have a reach of about 700,000 followers, and my insights are about 11 million per month of an audience that is catching on to what we're doing. So come join us. We've got a
Yeah,
great movement, a
yeah,
feminine
that's
movement.
powerful.
But come
Yeah,
join us.
that's a lot of eyes, and I know that you and all those organizations are helping a ton of people. So if you were to give any of these people a reason to come, what's your one reason that they should come to the event January 18th?
Camaraderie. It's important for us to come together. You never know who you're going to meet at these events. Every event that I go to, I meet somebody like you, Mike, who just touches my soul, and somebody that I end up building a bond with that is very likely going to be lifelong. So it's really important to get out there, get out from whatever it is you're doing. We're coming into this is January. So we're coming right into the new year. This is an opportunity to get motivated. It's an opportunity to get excited, get your health and your mental wellness in line as you start the new year. And that's going to set you off to have an incredible year and a successful year.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also going to have a lot of local small businesses, vendors, resources. Another guy that I met via Coach Burt in the program with Daniel Gomez is he's actually also in San Antonio, Texas. His name's Mark Murray. He's like the number one veteran benefit specialist I've ever talked to in my life. And I served 14 years. I fought the VA for 5 years. This guy made me $1 million in 5 minutes. He literally took my computer, did the e-benefits, gave it back to me, whispered in my ear, and then 4 months later, my life was different. Those are the kinds of people that we're going to have at the resource booths throughout the venue. So it's so much more than just us speaking and us helping people. Like, no, we're actually going to have resources there for these people. A general admission ticket, Janae, it's $97. You've been to a lot of events. Have you ever gotten in a room like that for $97?
No, that's very reasonable. A very
I
reasonable.
mean, and also the night prior, we're going to do a charity workout. I don't know if you know who Bobby Henline is, but there's Bobby Henline Foundation. One of my realtors has a great relationship with him. So we've put together the workout to raise funds for that as well. So it's not just a speaking engagement. It's not just, come sit in the crowd and rah rah. Like, no, there's going to be tools. There's going to be financial literacy. There's going to be book publishers on site, tax professionals. I mean, you name it. I don't think that you can come to this event and not walk away with value. Um, and your value is immensely appreciated. And I just want to make sure that the women come out and see you because I know they weren't going to come out and see us all us guys. So, and I know that this particular gym, they have a huge female membership ratio. So it's important for them to see a strong female as well, and not just a bunch of guys going, who can pick up the heaviest stuff and put it down, right?
Hey, some of the women are going to pick up the heaviest stuff and put it down too.
Yeah. So a
Especially
couple
there.
of
You're right there
questions.
in Sailortown. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
for
seeing a bunch
sure.
of my shipmates out there.
No doubt. I'm gonna switch gears here because I see this sign behind you. Um, and I just kind of feel like that's kind of your motto. Like it's also the theme of your book, right? Like you kind of came to this point where nobody's coming to save me, right? So I just kind of wanted to point that out. I love it, but I know it's customized to you, right? So
Yes, that is my custom merch, and you can find that on my website as well. And I'm wearing this shirt. So it says a victim. The victim is crossed out, and then you've got hero, and it says no one's coming to save you. And it doesn't mean that nobody wants to save you and nobody wants to help, right? That's we all come together and we help one another out. But what happens is a lot of times people are kind of dealing with their own things, and they may not have the capacity to step in and help you when you need them, or they may not even know that you need help. So you have to always be prepared to step up and save yourself, even if that means asking for help. But just shedding that victim mindset. So I have the merch. Oh, pointed with the wrong finger. I have the
yeah,
merch on my website, and it's just a constant reminder of not falling into that victim mindset.
I love it. I was for a while I was rocking with this victim over or a victor over victim, and then I saw yours and I was like, I can't even use that concept. She's already got it.
You
Like
can use
it's not
it.
the same, but it's the same. I don't want to be a biter, but I like the red tag spray paint line through it. I don't know if people pick up on that much, but that's a tagline.
Mhm.
So it's just a kid from the gutter.
Yeah, a lot of times we talk about like the victim and the survivor mindsets, right? And so I kind of I the reason I really adopted the hero mindset is survivor, it's still passive. it's still like, it's like, no, I'm a hero. I'm a hero of my life. And now I get to go out and be a hero for others. So yeah, that hero, it's fierce, and own it. Own that you're
Yeah,
the hero of your life.
I love it. It's a great concept. So now we're going to kind of switch to this is the Your Peak Life podcast, and there's standard questions that I have to ask you, just because it's what we do. So, where's Janae in 5 years?
In 5 years, out there on every stage you could imagine, maximizing the impact of not just my story, but being able to elevate stories of other people, getting other people out there and helping them find their own voice, and then watching them as they continue to grow and they stand on those stages and tell their stories, as well as being in every possible room where we can have social impact on policy, on change within the military, just continuing to get out and expand the work that we do with the Grunt Style Foundation, Pink Berets organization, and Irreverent Warriors, and just helping our veterans. So I'm looking forward to watching as our community continues to grow and find their voice.
Well, I love all of that. And if you guys need somebody for any of those stages, you can go to brokerfromthebottom.com. Shameless plug, but that's really why I do this. A lot of people at the companies or even that live here locally still serving, like they served with me and they see what we're doing out here. And there's a lot that I don't publicize. There's reasons I do what I do, and people confirm that every day. I just don't publicize it because I think that kind of takes away from the validity of it. The somebody's confessing to you in confidence that you're actively changing their life. I don't necessarily parade that around. They don't always want that. If it's a coaching client and they're like, oh yeah, you could post it, but most people that you really help, it's in the shadows.
Mhm.
They message you in the morning, hey, thanks, you got me through the day. You don't we don't screenshot that and then post it to the world to see, but those are the things that keep us going, and definitely why I do it. You were in the room. I mean, I won't say I never expected, but to empty all the seats and just have everybody in the room in a line, like I'm some kind of celebrity.
You are.
I guess, but I just to me it's not like that. I work hard. I take care of people. You know.
You sold out your books that day. You sold out. And they were in line waiting to take a
Yeah,
picture with you, waiting to talk to
it's
you and
true.
shake your hand and soak up that good energy that you bring. And I know you're not just getting started in your career and in the work that you're doing, but you are just getting started on these stages, but yet you're already having such a profound impact. So you inspire me. I watch you and I think, oh, I need to do it that way as well. Like that's pretty cool. That's pretty creative. You're
Well,
so
good,
creative.
good.
You're up at 4 o'clock in the morning writing novels every single day. I mean, your
It's true.
commitment is inspiring.
Well, thank you. So it sounds like for the next 5 years, we're going to be gracing stages all across the country and change people's lives.
Yes, let's do it.
I'm totally cool for that, and all of those foundations that you mentioned have massive reach, and I would love to be one small part of that. Um,
Absolutely.
the next question that we always ask is, what's your peak life? Like you see this right behind me. To us, that means like, what's the highest point of your life? Where do you see like, man, I made it.
When I was in school, I remember learning about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And at the time, I was kind of in survival mode, and I was still trying to find a place to live, and I was trying to find my purpose, and I couldn't see, for the next 3 years out, I could hardly even see the next day. I was eating ketchup packets from Popeyes, to survive. And I remember when I saw Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one of the top pillar is self-actualization, and it's really just being able to fully dedicate yourself to others, and having reached such a high level of self-confidence that you're able to go out and then just dedicate your life to helping others. And that's my peak life. I'd like to have several transitional living centers for youth, drop-in centers for youth to get resources. I love the work that I get to do in the military and veteran community, but there's an untapped community that I have great passion for, and that's the at-risk youth community, because that's where I come from. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't
Yeah,
been in that
same.
position. And so just getting out there and being able to help that community, and get them from get them out of the predator's hands, that's my peak life.
I love it. Much in alignment, as you saw at the last speaking engagement, my unveilment of my actual brand now.
Yes.
Impact over impress, be tenacious. And that fits the bill for all of those institutions that you're talking about. Enlisted military has been top 10 hardest jobs in the world for the last like 30 years straight. It's not easy. Those families go through hell. When they transition out, they go through hell. You know, they're not really taught about all their resources or tools. And it's our duty, those of us that have been there and done that, to teach them and help them along. That's really the purpose of the Determine Your Destiny event, is to help veterans and entrepreneurs come together, get resources and tools, and take them back and make their businesses better.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring in people from outside of our marketplace because nobody else is doing that here. A lot of people around here have podcasts. None of them have a top 20 podcast in the world, like Sean. A lot of people around here play basketball, but they're not coaching, Kyle Lowry like Travis is. A lot of people want to help veterans, but they're not helping hundreds of thousands of people like you. They're not putting like what do you have a program, 5,000 beds a year or something like that you're
5 million.
doing? What was
Yes.
that?
5 million bed nights. Yes.
5 million. Yeah, okay. I said 5,000. See, I was off, missing a few zeros, but that's true impact. And I think when we take these people and put them in a room with high level people, well, I know that science proves that they perform better by about 15%. So if they just show up, they'll already be doing better in 2025 than they were last year.
Absolutely. When you're transitioning, you remember when you were transitioning out of the military, we looked to our military leaders for advice, but they never transition, so they're not the experts. So what you're doing is you're bringing the experts together and you're giving them actual people who have actually can help them with their transition instead of them going looking for their leaders and their leaders are like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you,
Yeah,
buddy. Or
no,
they're
but
giving
that's
them bad
true.
advice because they
How
don't
can
want
you
to
help me
admit that they don't
transition if
know.
you've never went from military to civilian? You don't know what that means.
Exactly.
So that's a great point. But I'm gonna switch gears one last time before we hop off here tonight. I always give everybody an opportunity to ask the host. I've been sitting here grilling you with questions for 25 minutes. Do you have anything that you want to ask me while we're on here?
I think what I would ask you is I would like to ask the challenges that you faced in the military as you were transitioning out. Have you considered, getting out there into the MilVet community and helping to really raise awareness about those specific challenges? Because I think there's opportunity. What you faced was a great injustice. And, I'm a social justice warrior. So I would love for more people to hear that part of your story. I know you're doing a lot of great things, but I'd love for people to hear more of that part of your story. Have you
So
considered getting in front of legislators, getting in front of
yeah.
military leaders and sharing that story?
So what I wanted to do was become a best-selling author and a paid speaker without that because I didn't want that to be the only reason that I made it. But also, sometimes you gotta pick your battles and tread lightly too. You never know who's watching or when they're watching or who's waiting to throw dirt on you. And I know that you know about this explicitly and specifically. So I've just kind of been careful. I left, I mean, 5.5 years ago now. I've built a very, very good life. But yes, you're right. There's bureaucracy, there's leadership by fear mongering, there's a plethora of sexual harassment and good old boy club. And uh, heavily part of the reason I was prosecuted the way I was is because I didn't drink the Kool-Aid and I always kept it real. I wouldn't
Mhm.
fall in line with certain people. Um, and the military's rank structure isn't necessarily the best as far as how people get in charge, right? So it's not necessarily performance based. There's typically some human error or selection in there, favoritism, if you will. Certain things like, oh, you got to be in this long to do that, or you got to be a guy or a girl to do that, or you know what I'm talking about. It's there. Um, and I would speak about it in the right setting. I'm not going to go talk to the kids about this is what went down when I was serving on this ship, and I was going through my divorce, and this is how the Navy handled it. And because I didn't want it to become like I'm just always bashing the Navy because I don't want to do that either, right? I did serve at a high level. I was what one would call Joe Navy. Everywhere I served at the highest level. I outperformed anybody that was next to me. Uh, but that comes with heat, comes with hate, comes with envy. And then when you sprinkle in business success on the side, and it's just a perfect storm of things that took me where I was supposed to go. Everything happened for a reason, but I do have proof of things that are not okay in the right place or the right time and in the right way. I will expound on that story because even you guys in that room, you got a very small piece. I literally have an ADSEP document that states that they violated my constitutional rights and I wasn't afforded due process. Yet I still went home without my anchor reinstated. You understand
Yeah.
where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
I have a letter that said, "Oh, this could take up to 18 months," and then I decided to go home. So, yeah, there's a lot of BS. And yes, they cost me a retirement based on no evidence, but I chose to go home because why would I stay with people that call me their brother or sister that treat me like the redheaded stepchild?
You hit the nail on the head right there. When I talk about how we advocate and how we share these stories, and that's why your story is so powerful. We love the Navy. You love the Navy. You were Joe Navy. I also love the Navy. I was supposed to be a
I
lifer.
went hard in the paint,
Mhm.
like like
But we
next level.
Exactly. But the things that were done to you, it removed some of that honor from the uniform, and it removed some of the honor because of the things that people that you trusted to do the right thing, to act with integrity, they didn't. And uh, that's why we do what we do, so that we can restore that honor, so that people can continue to serve and be proud of the uniform they're wearing, knowing
Yeah.
that people like that aren't continuing to promote and elevate while acting without character, you know?
It was pretty wild. Like I found factual evidence of the triad lying on official naval messages. Like I won the AdSep board unanimously for a reason. Okay. If anybody knows anything about the military, when you go to an AdSep board, that board is not in your favor.
Yeah.
That board works for the chain of command. They are there on behalf of the commanding officer by way of the legal department, and you're just there to plead your case. How does one win unanimously without overwhelming evidence?
Yep. Yep.
So, and I still have that proof. It's still in my house. I didn't want to become the guy that was trying to get clout from that. I wanted to build what I've built
Yeah.
and then say, well, this is a piece of my resilience or
And you
my,
just never know what people are going to resonate with when you put your story out there. You
oh
never
yeah,
know when you put it out, because that's when I put my book out there, it was the same thing. I thought it was going to be more geared towards the at-risk youth, and then people resonated with that specific military sexual trauma story, and they were like, "Wow, I also experienced that," and it's refreshing to hear someone say it out loud and be able to voice what they experienced. Um, and actually bring this stuff to light, right? I always say that the spotlight is a disinfectant. So to actually bring it to light, that was something we learned during the pandemic.
well, to be honest with you, that's kind of how I got through it, right? Like you got to think
Mm,
about a dude that made Chief Petty Officer first time up,
mm,
that was an undesignated airman with no school, that was the sailor of the quarter, sailor of the year, everywhere he went. One phone call ruins a 14-year career. That's
exactly.
crazy.
Hmm.
From a soon-to-be ex-spouse that just lost in court on a Friday, and y'all got me coming in this office on Monday. You see what I'm saying? Like none of that was taken into consideration. Guilt was assumed. Uh, I made some mistakes. I can't put it all on them. I said certain things. I wrote certain things down because I've always had a switch. It gets better every year, but 5 years ago, it wasn't as good as it is now. Like when I get called in the office by people that are supposed to respect me and they start bashing me and talking shit to me, I'm from a place where that's not okay. So I'm just gonna like act a certain type of way, and then that just fuels their fire to come after me, and it just got ugly there for a little while. And um, you know, unfortunately for them, they just didn't know who they were fucking with. That's really what it boiled down to. I'm gonna spend every waking breath saving my dignity, my character, and my service will not be in vain. You're not about to take my benefits from me. I got kids to feed, but also I realized in that moment, like I got through it because I felt like it was supposed to happen to somebody like me. Somebody like me had to beat them for them to stop leading with fear, for them to stop persecuting people based on opinion and not fact. Like somebody had to withstand the storm and win and become like a beacon of hope, right? Like after I came up from the mess decks winning that case, like people were literally congratulating me in the hangar bay, like, they were trying to tell me I'd get in trouble if I didn't keep it down, like, which is a lie. They actually couldn't do anything to me at that point, right? Like, but you don't know these things until you go get educated, and they don't tell you that JAG doesn't really work for you. They work for the Navy, and you're going to have to do all your research and give it to them and spoon feed them to represent you. And if you want character witness statements, you have to go get them. And oh, by the way, good luck when they have your cat card and you can't get on the daggone computer, right? Like they purposely will set you up for failure. They waited until we went underway to persecute me, like all kinds of things. But I just wanted to make sure that I won first without ever even like bringing that up. And then one day when the whole story comes out, that'll be a piece of it. Um, and people will look at Antoine Fisher's movie like, what is that?
Exactly. There should be a movie. There should absolutely be a movie on your
Right.
story. And I
So
I I see your 5-year plan probably sooner of there being one. I think that it would be an incredible
I
movie.
I mean that would be cool. I don't necessarily want to play in it or like
No. Yeah.
I don't do anything really for sympathy or fame, but if somebody could take these these true events and create an epic motion picture with an all-star cast and give me royalties until I die, I'll take that for all the pain. But really not even for me. It's for my kids, it's for my family name. You know, there kind of isn't one right now. I'm that, right? So for my son and my daughter and my sisters back home and my wife, like it's all calculated. Like I have concepts for that whole story. I won't spit them out here because I don't want to get sued just yet. But all that did happen, but I still, if you go in my house, there's an anchor hanging on the wall. There's a shadow box that all the prior Navy chiefs and chief warrant officers at my real estate firm gave me at the company awards because the Navy never gave me one. You know, those moments are replaceable. Like, you guys wanted to send me home, I beat you, and now your people leave the Navy to come be led by me.
Yep,
So
exactly.
I don't really need per se vindication, but I do think that other people need to know that it's not what they think it is.
And there's people who have experienced similar injustices that you have, and
Oh yeah. Oh no,
specifically
I
people
know
that
some
you
people, like a
can-
lot of people
Mhm.
actually.
and
So,
and you're a beacon of hope for them. So like you were when I heard your story, I was like, wow, this I've heard so many similar stories, and so it's really empowering for you to be able to say those things out loud and share it in a book. And I hope people get a copy of your book, because so I'm going to also promote your book on your podcast because people
well,
need
I
to read
appreciate it.
it.
But well, so I mean, we could talk about that briefly too. I wrote my first book this past summer. It went number one bestseller on Amazon, and that was really just like my principles. That's what I live by. Those five things were like what I boiled down to will make you successful anywhere in life. But then I also realized like I have a whole nother story to tell. That's just a conceptual, like this is how my brain works. This is what's made me successful. But what people haven't seen yet is the story behind that thought process. So I'm playing chess, like there's I got some stuff in the bag, but I want to make sure that when it comes out right. You know, I kind of learned my lesson with the first book. Like I feel like I could have retitled it. Um, Probably some things like a tour or a predate release or things that I didn't do that I didn't know. But also I'm glad I didn't waste the effort because now this time it won't be like Amazon number one ain't the goal, right? Like I want to be on the New York Times side of things. So that's where I'm trying to go in 5 years. If that's what you're trying to pull out of me, Janae, I
Yes.
appreciate it though.
Thank you for sharing that. And you'll be
You,
there.
you got anything else for the crowd today before we hop off here?
I just again thank you for considering me for for inviting me on the stage on your stage. I think the work that you're doing is incredible, and there's a saying about inclusion versus diversity, and diversity is inviting people to the party. Inclusion is inviting them to dance, and you invited me to dance and to be able to be on that stage and
That's a great
share
analogy.
my perspective as a woman. So. I'm grateful for that, and I look forward. Look, this is Norfolk. Like, come on, shipmates. I need to see you come out in
She has a
force. Like, don't
shipmates.
make me look bad. You got two sailors here. I
Yep.
need to see
Well,
my shipmates there.
we're just gonna tag everybody we know and invite everybody we know, and if you show up, I know your life will be changed that day. So click the link below, subscribe, get at least a general admission ticket to Determine Your Destiny, January 18th, Norfolk Island Asylum. Janae, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
All right. See you soon. Thank you.